This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at SIGGRAPH 2019. To my immediate right is Sean Frayne. He is CEO of a company called LookingGlass. Welcome to the program, Sean.
Hey, thanks.
So tell me, what does LookingGlass do?
So LookingGlass, we're based in Brooklyn with a hardware lab in Hong Kong, and we make holographic displays.
So when you say holographic displays, what do you mean by that?
So here at SIGGRAPH, they'd more technically be called 45 element or 45U light field displays. So essentially the first desktop system that lets groups of people see and interact with truly three-dimensional worlds.
Okay, so one of the challenges when it comes to glasses-free stereoscopic 3D display is you have a limited number of views, you've got tight viewing angles that, unless you're standing in the perfect spot, the 3D image just falls apart.
That's right.
So what are the advantages of this technology?
So over the last 5 years, as we've been developing the LookingGlass, which is shipping now, there are thousands out in the world, and we just announced the Pro version of the LookingGlass, which is shipping starting today, actually. The LookingGlass is really designed for groups of people. So we eliminated all hot spots or sweet spots of viewing. So within a wide 50-degree viewing zone, anyone in that hologram friend viewing zone can see and interact with true super stereoscopic 3D content without glasses or headsets.
It's really something else. I mean, I'll say that for sure. It's really something else because I could view it from different angles. I take it there's no, I mean, there could be, but there is no eye tracking with what I just saw, right?
No, it's passive. So you don't have to have fiducial markers or head or eye tracking with the system. Although you can add that if you're a developer that wants to push performance for a smaller number of viewers.
Okay, good stuff. Now, when it comes to the stereoscopic 3D experience, you've got two types. You've got stuff that goes deep inside the screen,
right,
and then you've got those out-of-screen experiences. I like that, out-of-screen experiences. Does this support both?
Fundamentally, it supports both, but it's really designed, the LookingGlass is designed to transport a volume of 3D digital space into the real world. So whatever you can imagine drawing a box or a bubble around, whether that's a CT scan or a 3D part that you're evaluating before printing, or a volumetric video like they're showing in their LookingGlasses at the Intel booth across the way over here, that's really the ideal content for the LookingGlass.
All right, good stuff. Now, this is a pretty big display that I saw here. I mean, it's big. It's not a full-size 3D television, but it's still a fair size. How big do these things come in?
So the size behind us right now is our largest size that we have on the market now. So it's 15.6-inch diagonal. And we make a slightly smaller system for entry-level use by developers and 3D creators, which is 8.9 inches. And those are both available on our website, lookingglassfactory.com. It is possible to make larger systems, so we've done this in the lab, and we still haven't released any release date for those.
Okay, so how big is big for you guys?
Bigger than the one behind us.
Do you see, I mean, right now I take it it's very much for professional use or used by professionals to appeal to like traditional consumers like myself. Do you see this having a long-term future as like a mass market type of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So our playbook is the same playbook as desktop computers in the late 70s, starting with a highly engaged group of nerds like me that are really into the field of 3D display and 3D interfaces. And that's going really strong. And there are clubs popping up around the LookingGlass around the world. Next phase, which is starting with the LookingGlass Pro, is enterprise. So applications in medicine and real estate visualization and 3D simulation. And then the third stage of consumer will come a little bit later, but it is our ambition to make holographic display and light field display like the LookingGlass the primary platform that people use to view and interact with all types of 3D content. So it will be in millions of homes a few years from now.
All right, good stuff. Can you speak to like pixel count, like what needs to be delivered through this display to make it work?
Sure. So we've been very cognizant of the workstations that people have on their desks right now for the 2 developer kits, and also for the Pro, we want stuff to run fast, 60 frames a second. So all of those systems that run the LookingGlass are between a 1050 to 1060 GTX equivalent.
So you're referring to the graphics card, what kind of processing power is needed?
That's right. And so what's ended up driving into the display that you see behind us is a 4K HDMI video feed, and that has encoded within it the 45 different perspectives that then get decoded by the optics built into the physical looking glass itself.
And can you speak to like the display itself as far as like how many pixels that need to be are driven through the display at a time?
Sure, it's 8 million pixels, or we actually treat them on a sub-pixel basis, so on the RGB sub-pixel basis. So 24 million sub-pixels then get recombined into 45 distinct views, about 1 view per degree to groups of people.
So as a comparable to, let's say, a 4K television, from a resolution point of view, are they in the same scale, or are they worlds apart from one another? How would you describe?
The system ends up, what you see stereoscopically is less than you would see from a 4K television, significantly less, but it's not 8 million divided by 45, because you are getting stereosynthesis in the eyes because the views are so tight together and so on. But you know, I think folks should judge for themselves, and they can come by our office in Brooklyn and check it out.
I would add too that in my experience when dealing with stereoscopic content, you actually get a lot more with less. Like, I mean,
right.
From a resolution point of view, you actually get a lot more detail. And you don't even think about the resolution when you see stuff like this. Very impressive stuff.
Thank you.
So it's available now, I take it. People can get it for professional use. Remind me what the going rates are?
So the Looking Glass Pro, which has a built-in computer, built-in touchscreen on the front, and a fold-out 7-inch touchscreen on the side for 2D UI elements, that goes for $6,000. That's our enterprise offering. And then we have 2 developer kits that run at $3,000 for the bigger one and $599 for the smaller one.
All right, good stuff. One thing else that impressed me, and I know you brought up the horsepower to drive it, that you're running this off a Nook, which is considered a thin client these days relative to a full-fledged PC. So you're getting away with quite a bit with a limited amount of processing power.
Yeah, so we do a lot of optimization in all of our software, like our Unity SDK or Unreal SDK, which we put a lot of work into, so hopefully folks find those to be really powerful. We optimize as much as we can to reduce the computational load or expense of pulling out those 45 different views from a virtual scene and driving them into the display. So it's really a combination of novel hardware and some novel software that makes this possible.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at SIGGRAPH 2019. We will, of course, be back with more. Thank you for watching.